Hello, I'm Annalouise, and today I'm going to be talking about blessings. That feeling that one gets when one takes a moment and feels into or names what we're appreciating and what we want to send blessings and love to in the world. I have developed a practice of, before eating a meal, just taking a moment to pause and sending blessings out. It might be to the sunshine, it might be to the people that have been responsible for providing the amazing food that I have in front of me. It might be to the birds that are singing or the trees. And it also gives me a chance to send love and light to people I know might be struggling. So perhaps people who are ill or people who are going through a hard time. And it allows me to just take that little pause before eating to open and become more present rather than just launch into my food. And interesting enough, I find it easier when I have other people around me in the house. I notice that when I'm on my own, I have to be more mindful of cultivating the practice. When I have other people in the house, I ask, oh, does anyone want to do a blessing before we eat? And it varies. Some people go, yeah, I'd love to. And then other people are like, no, you can do it. Because maybe they're not used to it, or they're not accustomed, or they're maybe a bit shy about speaking out loud. Whatever happens, it's always beautiful. I particularly love when people offer the blessing because it provides a different window into reality. Everyone's window into a blessing is different. And what people name and how people name it is different, and the tone and the way they do it. So it's so beautiful being able to share blessings that each time someone else does it. Is it something that you do regularly? For instance, around meal times, is that something that you regularly do, or sometimes do, or not at all? All is good, obviously. I think sometimes saying something before a meal can have some connotations of religious traditions or practices. So that might even put people off in some way. But of course, it's just really coming into the heart and taking a pause and a moment to appreciate. And before we eat is such a perfect marker because we have 3 main meals, maybe a day, 2 or 3 main meals. And it's a time perhaps we've just come into sitting down, and so we can take a pause, maybe take a breath. Yeah, I would love to lead us into a little exploration, whether you do this regularly or not, just to open ourselves up to the information that's here. First of all, let's imagine that we've prepared our food, or the food's been prepared and it's in front of us, and we pretty much launch straight into eating it. So you can imagine you've got a beautiful plate of food in front of you, maybe you're a bit hungry and you're just about to start eating. And let's see in that imagination where our energy is. Like, where is our attention? How big is our energetic field? What's going on for us? What are we feeling in our bodies? What I notice is that I have a lot of attention in the food, in the plate. I can almost feel like a leaning in and like a sort of almost a sense of like hurriedness at the anticipation of eating. And I sort of feel that my awareness has come down a little bit, it's narrowed into this sort of area rather than being more global and full. Yeah, I can feel a little bit maybe of tension here. What about yourselves? What do you notice? What do you notice at the prospect of this plate of food and you're just about to start eating without too much of a pause? I'm curious. And then we'll try another little experiment where we've got this beautiful plate of food, same context, and we're going to take a moment to take a breath and look at the food and feel our environment, hear the noises and the space, and take a moment to either internally or externally say, give blessings on whatever comes to our consciousness. So let's try a little experiment. I'll go first and then you can go afterwards. So we're all set up with our food there. We've taken a little breath. And first thing that comes into my awareness is blessings on the sunshine for providing all it does to create these amazing vegetables. What about you? Do you want to name something? Blessings on something, anything at all? And then I can name another one, just what comes into my mind. Blessings on my friends and family. And yeah, how beautiful they are. And then your turn. Any blessing at all, whatever it might be. And then I'll do another one. Blessings on this day. Yay, blessings on this day. And your turn. And then I'm going to do one around people I know that are going through a hard time. So thinking of them particularly and sending love and light in their direction. Yeah. And maybe something else for you around that, like whether it's sending healing or love or opening our hearts to something that might want some extra support. And then now in this moment, we can take in our food again and enter into the prospect of eating in this new configuration that we've arrived at with opening our heart and just noticing what happens. So how does it feel different? If it does, it might feel exactly the same. Is there anything you notice in yourself or in your awareness? I think what I'm noticing is this, my heart feels more expanded and I'm feeling like my awareness is bigger. I'm less overly focused on my food. I feel more relaxed and I feel more patient as well, I think. I think it will help me eat a bit more slowly and help me appreciate my food as I eat it a little bit more, rather than a sense of like being in so much of a hurry, maybe. Yeah. So what did you notice? Please do post your comments below. And also, is this something that you regularly do? If so, please perhaps give us an example of what you might say so that we can all learn together and be inspired. That's the one thing I really notice as I invite other people. It's like it provides me fresh inspiration every time, and I feel like I really land hearing someone's blessings. It's like an invitation into ourselves, an invitation to be connected more to our soul. It's a really beautiful practice, and yet it can only, 10 seconds potentially for a little blessing, or a longer one if we wish. It's so easy, and because we eat regularly, there's a nice point to come back to. It's an easy habit to form relatively. Are there any other times in the day where you take moments to like feel the blessing energy? Maybe first thing in the morning when we wake up, or maybe at nighttime before we go to bed, possibly. I remember my ex-mother-in-law used to say that when she went to bed, she would say a little prayer for all of her family. She would go through all of the different family members and say a little prayer for them all. And that's stayed with me. Yeah, it stayed with me, that thought. Very, very beautiful. One idea that came up for me today was in getting into a car would be a lovely moment when I'm driving somewhere, just to invite blessing energy when I get into a car, because it's something I do not every day but regularly, and it's a nice little marker. Like in some countries, they carry sacred items in the car for protection, and that's perhaps less of a tradition where I come from, but we can bring the sense of like blessings and gratefulness when we start the engine. It's like, oh, thank you for this car, and like the ability to move around and drive on these amazing roads that we have. Yeah, whatever it might be. And again, send love and light to anyone in the world that might need it. What I notice is that because this lunchtime and mealtime practice of blessings has been a moment of connecting into the people in my life that may be having difficulties, sometimes I message them and say, oh, I was thinking of you and sending you love and light. And it's so beautiful how supportive that can be to them, and how appreciative they can be when they're passing through those challenging times. So it's another way of like expanding this field of love and grace amongst us all. Yeah. What are you feeling now, having listened to all of this? Are you feeling inspired? Are you feeling re-inspired? Are you feeling perhaps like reinforced in some way by practices you already have? Whatever it might be, I'm curious. And is there anyone you would like to share this thought with? I'm wondering, if you close your eyes just for a couple of seconds and notice, does anyone come to mind that it might be good to share this thought with? So it could be the next time you're in their company and eating a meal, and you could say, oh, would you mind if I said a little blessing before we started? Or another occasion that comes to mind. Or it might be that you might want to share this video with someone that might appreciate it in some way, and then maybe you've got a common connection point. Yeah, maybe there could even be a little bit of embarrassment about saying, oh, can I say a blessing? Like sometimes when people come to my house, there's like an inertia, and if they're staying with me for like a week or two, I see often they really fall open, and then they start saying a blessing, and afterwards they're, oh wow, this feels really, really good. But it takes them a little while to warm up to the idea of maybe speaking something out loud and not being used to that sort of practice. So it's one of those things that we can invite other people in to gently and see whether it's something that might be appreciated. If you've liked this little video, please do subscribe and press the little bell for notifications so that you get a notification when new videos emerge. I'm in this moment sending you so many blessings, like showering you with light and love and bubbles of joy. And may we all feel connected more into that blessings energy. May the world, little by little, the people in the world be more connected into that, so that we can open and soften and expand our awareness. Blessings on your day, blessings on you, and lots of love and light.